and welcome to another episode of Motors for the Masses, and today we're taking a little bit of a break from the norm. Why is that, I hear you ask? Well, the long-awaited Season 2 of Grand Tour is here. So today we're going to do a bit of a review. Not going to be a long one, just a short review, but to give you an idea of what it's about, let's get going.
Oh, hang on, Jezza, you've got a parcel. No, I can tell there's a man putting one of those I can't be asked to ring the doorbell cards through the letterbox.
The tent is located here, yeah.
So this season's different to last season in that they're not taking the tent round to different locations, they're keeping it in one location in the UK, in Yorkshire. So, what do you think of that? I think it's a good idea. I don't think it really matters where the tent is. However, the only downfall of that is that you're not getting people from that country coming to see the show. It's only English people, which is not too dissimilar to, but we can't mention that. And it's also unfair, I suppose, on the others. I suppose it depends what kind of feedback they got on how many people turned up or wanted tickets for the last one. However, there is a funny bit in there about the tent being very close to Jeremy's house, and a little thing about the cat and the parcel, as you just saw. Quite amusing. As usual, there's a little montage of what's coming up over the coming weeks, but they said only 11 weeks. I think there was 13 in the last season, and interestingly enough, this episode is called Past, Present or Future, whereas the last episode of Season 1 was called Past versus Future. Not too dissimilar. Are they trying to continue it? I don't know. So clearly they've got lots coming up. As usual, there's challenges where they do stupid things in cheap cars, where they do other things that blow up, jumpy stuff, fast stuff, crazy off-road stuff that seems to wheelie a lot. So it does look very interesting. I just hope that not all the interesting bits were in that 1-minute montage. I guess we'll find out. So their first segment is in Switzerland, and they have past, present and future, as in the Lamborghini petrol, the Honda NSX hybrid and the Rimac electric car. And as Jeremy states, we all know how that ends. But that was his little joke. I'm not claiming credit for that. As usual, Amazon have done themselves proud with how they've produced this. The video quality is superb, the sound is superb, the way they do the little snippets of the car through the tunnel, the scenery, the drones they use, clearly the 4K cameras they use, absolutely stunning. And I'm really impressed with how they've put this piece together. The colours are really vibrant. Obviously it helps having a decent monitor to watch it through, but I just love how they put this together. It's fantastic. Very well done there. Now I really do love all three of these. Obviously the Lamborghini, a big favourite of mine. I've never really been a Ferrari person, always been a Lamborghini person, but the Honda NSX is stunning, absolutely beautiful to look at, and the technology is out of this world. The Rimac, or the Lady Shaver as Jeremy refers to it as, is also pretty damn stunning. But what is the point of a supercar that makes no noise? Now they go through tunnels in this, through the mountains in Switzerland. And of course, as we've seen from previous videos, Hammond likes to be whap with his accelerator pedal, making as much noise as possible. So it seems a bit strange that he's in the quietest car. You should almost expect James May to be in it, really. But overall, a great, stunning piece. They've really worked very hard and got paid a lot probably, but it does look very good. Really pleased with how this turns out. The Rimac, I am worried that our future is heading down this road. I don't want an electric car. I can see myself getting a hybrid in the future, but I still want that raw noise. And I'm scared for the way this world is heading. Silence. I never thought I'd see the day when a supercar would be silent. Anyway, back to the film.
They probably think this is some sort of Eastern European electric milk float in a supercar suit. Well, they're wrong. Very wrong.
So just as a little snippet as to what I'm talking about, have a listen to this. Personally, I'd much rather take my massive V8 through there.
It's a 6.5 litre V12.
V12,
Petrol into noise.
V8 Mustang is what you want in there. But again, fantastic work on the sound there by the producers and the filmographers, videographers. So just to throw in a few facts, the Honda NSX has a 3.5 litre V6 engine with 3 electric motors. So that produces 573 horsepower. 0 to 60, 2.9 seconds and a top speed of 191 miles an hour. That's pretty good going. However, the Lamborghini Aventador S has a 6.5 litre V12 engine producing 740 brake horsepower. That's quite a bit of power, but also a much bigger engine, twice the size pretty much. And that has a top speed of 217 miles an hour, but also a 0 to 62 of 2.9. So it's not that much different to the NSX. But the Rimac is a different thing altogether. Now that has no mechanical engine, it just has 4 massive motors, and together they produce 1,224 horsepower. 0 to 62, 2.5 seconds and a top speed of 220 miles an hour. But it makes no noise, so who cares? So the rest of the film is about them going to a hotel, lots of rabbit food, stroke veggie type stuff, lettuce leaves and all that. All very amusing, ha ha ha, Jeremy Clarkson, some funny looks, oh anger, where's the meat? All very good, humorous. So on to Conversation Street, and in this they're talking about them all being ill. Of course, Hammond was ill because he crashed a car, Clarkson had pneumonia, and James had syphilis or something, I don't know. So yes, that was all very amusing. Ha ha ha, very good. It was okay, it was conversation. They spoke about stuff. A little bit of amusing thing in there when they were saying that James May had his identity stolen, which is obviously not amusing, but the fact they changed his name to Dingleberry Hand Pump. Moving on. Something they did touch on, which I agree is a completely pointless thing to develop, and that is seats that detect sweat and change colour when sweat is absorbed into them, because it tells you whether you're dehydrated or not. And as they pointed out, if you don't know that yourself, then there's something wrong. You feel thirsty, you want something to drink, you have a drink. Your mouth's dry, deal with it that way. You don't need a seat, you don't need to get out and go, oh, better have a drink, because my seat tells me to. Honestly, what a waste of money and time. So after Conversation Street they go back to their film, and they're driving on a road through a tunnel that isn't open, so they have to turn around and go down a crappy little road, looks like a building site road, lots of scrapage and of course Jeremy damaging his car. Then they go into a local town and damage some more and get stuck and can't get down spaces. All very amusing, all very typical of those three's antics, and that's about it really. That's what they do. The only thing they succeeded in doing is pissing off the locals, more particularly Jeremy when he reversed into some chairs. Have a look.
Sorry. Sorry.
See?
That's not good. Sorry.
Not impressed.
After a short drive through suburbia...
Now, of course, not wishing to be stereotypical here in any way, but it seems that the German part of Switzerland has no sense of humour. Of course, I could be wrong. It could just be that person. I guess the big filmy camera stuff didn't really give it away for them. I don't know. The film then went on to the next day, where they go back to the same town through the same streets and go to a different museum. Although the museum is quite cool, where you basically push a button and it brings the vehicle out of a shelf and turns it around for you. Okay, but then they went on to the next day, where they go onto an airfield and have a drag race, and we all like a good drag race.
I mean, he's driving.
I think the Rimac will win.
Check.
Don't know about the Lambo and the NSX, because they're pretty equally matched.
Thrust mode.
Bye! So who's going to win? So the Rimac won, of course, Lamborghini second, and the NSX last. Sorry, third. Because we're all winners! After their drag race, of course, they had a bit of sideways action, and Jeremy ripped the tyre off. Now, next is a bit of a result. It seems that they have listened to us viewers and they have got rid of Celebrity Brain Crash, because it's crap. It was crap. And they've come back with a new idea where they're going to have two guests on in a head-to-head on a track. And this track is part tarmac and part gravel in a Jaguar F-Type. Now, this is brilliant. I love this. A great track. A decent car, and two head-to-head celebrities works out quite well. And this week they've got Richard Wilson, no, somebody Wilson, an English actor. Who is he? And David Hasselhoff. Anyway, hang on, wait a minute.
Between America's Got Talent and The Voice UK, please welcome Ricky Wilson and David Hasselhoff!
I was nearly right. Ricky Wilson, Richard Wilson. Very similar, and David Hasselhoff. Bit of a weird matchup, but it's because they're both talent show judges, so I guess they're going to have some kind of weird theme every week, which could work quite well. Look forward to it. So it turns out the UK beat America, so there you go. Brilliant. Next they go back to the film, and this time they're in the hotel having a bit of treatment. And this I had to rewind and watch 2 or 3 times because I found it very amusing when Jeremy Clarkson couldn't get his words out properly because he's got a tube up his arse. It's actually quite amusing. You'd have to watch it. It's quite funny. In fact, let's have a sneak peek now, shall we?
Clarkson? I don't know, I've got a tube up my arse. I don't know, I've got a tube up my arse.
The thing that they banned was that...
I don't know, because I've got a tube up my arse. I think you can do hill climbing in Switzerland, but I don't know for sure, because I've got a tube up my arse.
So in this last piece they go to the hill climb event, and this is where Richard Hammond had his crash, which resulted in the Rimac catching fire, which apparently kept catching fire several days afterwards because the battery cells kept popping and exploding and catching fire, because they've got 8,000 I think. So that was interesting. But in this, and I'm slightly confused by this, now they said their cameras stopped recording, so it doesn't look like it's fake, like they staged the accident, didn't expect the thing to catch fire but staged the accident. And I don't think they did that anyway, but there's something that makes me feel a bit odd about this piece. Now I can't understand why when Richard Hammond went through the finish line he didn't then brake. He kept accelerating and kept powering on. Now, like they said on here, they didn't have any footage of this because they switched their cameras off and they had to get this piece from YouTube. So Just watch this last piece and you'll see what I mean. Comes through the finish line and then keeps accelerating. No wonder he crashed. Brake. Brake. You could hear the groans of him going, oh, obviously hurt. Why didn't he brake after the finish line? I don't understand. Now, of course, he's very lucky to get out of that, but I don't understand why he didn't brake and he kept on accelerating. It's like he was concentrating so hard he didn't realise he'd gone through the finish line. It's a bit weird. What do you think? As you can see here, the car was a complete wreck. But what I do like is how they went back to the studio and then completely glossed over the whole accident thing and just started talking about the times and what they finished in. I thought that was quite amusing. It's like to go, anyway, and moved on, like they always said they would if one of them died. So perhaps that's like that, but watch.
Right, I have the times here. Are you ready? Representing the present day.
See what I mean? Quite amusing. And that would be the end. Now, I don't know where they are next week, but I'm hoping it's going to be as good or even better than this week. And judging by the montage at the beginning, I don't think it's going to be a disappointment. So thank you very much for joining. Please put your comments in below what you thought of the Grand Tour, and whether you think it's better than last season, worse than last season, if they could do more, if your expectations were or weren't met. And we'll see you again very soon. We've got more coming up from the Motorbike 400 build, and we've got some more cars coming. In fact, we've got a 200-mile-an-hour Bentley coming, so watch out for that video very soon. And our 5,000 subscriber giveaway. So we'll see you soon. Until then, ride and drive carefully, but have fun. Bye bye.